There is a neighborhood in Mexico City that's been around for 1700 years. It predates the Spanish invasion. And right now in 2026, its residents cannot get clean running water because a luxury skyscraper was built atop their aquifer. You might hear a lot of lavish aesthetic stories from influencers, but they don't tell you about Xoco. This is an old ancient neighborhood. You can tell by the trees, by the generations of families that have lived there, and in the tradition and culture of its architecture. Then a real estate development agency tore it up and built the highest skyscraper in Mexico City. And boom, gentrification, luxury condos, commercial space. During the construction of that skyscraper, the neighborhood lost access to water. And to add insult to injury, property taxes went up 500%. Property values shot up 1,300% within 10 years. When you're a local, when you're a native, you don't really get displaced by people. You get displaced by the buildings. Then you get displaced by the people that move into those buildings at exorbitant prices and call themselves progressive. But I digress. If you've heard this story before, Xoco isn't unique, but it's probably new to you. Since 2019, the number of Americans that consider themselves digital nomads has more than doubled, from 7.3 million to over 18 million. And Mexico City is the #1 digital nomad location on earth. And they're all packed into the same little neighborhood, Roma, Condesa, Juarez, pouring millions of usually American dollars into these few small square miles. And I'll give you an example of what it feels like to live there. One bedroom in Condesa costs between 20,000 and 30,000 pesos, which is like $1,100 to like $1,500 in US. Very good. The minimum wage is about 9,500 pesos per month, which is like about $550. But if you're doing math, that apartment costs 3 to 4 times the amount that a standard worker makes. And rents are still climbing, about 20 to 30% per year. And you can track this with Airbnb rentals. Rentals in Condesa have gone up about 67% in the last 4 years. The real mark of gentrification in Mexico City is that half of its permanent rental housing has converted into short-term housing, meaning Airbnbs have become more lucrative than long-term stays. What consumer base do you think that this is targeted towards? It isn't the locals. In fact, 20,000 families are estimated to get displaced every year, where Mexico has estimated they need 500,000 new homes. In 2023, they only built 1,000. And of that 1,000, only about 12% of it was affordable. So yeah, gentrification has hurt Mexico City. And every Get Ready With Me in Mexico City cdmx video that you see is just marketing for more of this gentrification. But Mexican students are fighting back. The Front for Youth Housing, FVJ, have organized housing around an anti-colonial framework. They organized 3 marches last July, and all of them walked straight up to the US Embassy. But don't worry, again, just like me, FVJ, they don't hate the individual contributor. In fact, they're quoted as saying, "We're not against the individual foreigner, we're against a system that allows a foreigner a better quality of life than mine, someone who lives here and pays taxes," which sums it up perfectly. So look, I get the impulse, right? America is expensive. It's exhausting. Politics feels suffocating. It feels like we're doomed. And paradise is just a 4-hour, 5-hour flight away. But let me let you in on a little secret. No amount of wanderlust, no amount of travel miles, no amount of escaping is going to outrun that feeling. The problems of your home and your home country will follow you because you are a product of that home. The benefits, the baggage that you come with and you have are directly related to where you're reared. If you have money to live in Mexico City, congratulations. You benefited from the system that is capitalism and of, free trade. When you land somewhere else with your purchasing power intact, you become the problem that you were running from. You become the colonizer. You are the victim, the benefactor, and the problem, all in one person. So the truth is, the real way to solve our problems are through legislation, community, lifestyle, changed habits, not from changed locations.